Greetings, welcome back to another episode of In the Dungeon, down here in the dungeon with me, Tommy. And just like the topic you saw for the title, 13 bands / artists that I've never seen live in concert. Some of these are going to be quite shocking to many of you, but I'm one of those guys that didn't have the opportunity as a youth to go to a lot of shows. In fact, I really didn't get to see many acts at all after I was in my 20s, became a dad, and raising a family and going to work and all that stuff. So when I was a teenager, I didn't drive, so I didn't have the access. I had public transportation, so the only shows I were able to see were the ones that were bigger acts downtown, and those tickets were a little bit more pricier. But for small clubs like Hammerjacks, believe it or not, never been to Hammerjacks, Daytona, some of these other local bars and clubs that hosted some of the bands that I love today, I just never got around to seeing them until recently. Now I'm going to see a lot of shows. I go with my son, which is pretty cool. He likes a lot of the same music that I like, and it's pretty cool when you can actually go to a show, being in your 50s and your kid's in his 20s, and you guys get out there and have a good time. Now, I'm not crowd surfing and moshing and doing all that stuff. I'm not into that, too old for that stuff, and just can't afford to get hurt. But hey, if you're an old guy like me and you're able to do that sort of thing, have at it, buddy. Have at it. So, today's beer, the video for today's beer, Shiner Tex Hex. It's a double IPA from Shiner, Texas, and pretty tasty. Coming at 9.5%. So yeah, we won't drink too many of these. Pretty interesting. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to read that or not, especially with it being cut kind of backwards, but it's made with cactus water. Pale ale made with cactus water. That's pretty damn dope. All right, so here we go. Number 13, counting down to number 1, and you guys are going to be very, very surprised by the time I get to number 1, if not blown away by number 1. But here's number 13, and take a pause there. Guess we'll help to get my list. It's going all raw here. Okay, number 13. This one's not much of a surprise, given the context that I gave you earlier. But number 13, Lemmy and Motorhead. Never seen them live in concert, and rest easy, Lemmy. Lemmy was a god in metal, and just one of those very influential people. And that band kicked out a lot of good stuff over those 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades almost. And then until Lemmy got sick and eventually passed away. But 13, Motorhead. Number 12, AC/DC. Yeah, that's another shocking band that I wasn't a huge AC/DC fan by any means, but I do enjoy the band, especially a lot of the older stuff with Bon Scott. So I like the older stuff, and of course, dude passed away in the 70s, I think. No, early 80s. Like right around 1980, 81, somewhere around there. Don't hold me to it. I'm not a factual guy with all the numbers, but never did get to see AC/DC. Now, this list is going to continue all the way down to number 1, and they're not all metal. Okay, they're bands that I enjoy, that I wish I've gotten to see live, and for whatever reason, I just never got around to it, or it's literally impossible right now. So, all right, continuing on, number 11. Again, not all metal. This artist passed away several years ago, who everyone I think that is in the type of music that I'm into, be it rock and roll, metal, punk, hardcore, everything. Everybody, I believe, went through a David Bowie stage in their life. I did. I definitely did, and it wasn't that long ago. In fact, it was just before he passed away that I got into David, and just I loved. I had a cassette, David Bowie cassette with China Girl. I think it was Modern Love. That Modern Love. Played the heck out of that, and that featured some good songs on that record. But never got to see David Bowie. So there's my number 11. Number 10. And there's several of these type of bands on this list. The Who. Yeah, The Who, That R&B / rock and roll band that went crazy and played loud and long sets. Never got around to seeing The Who. So, number 9. Following right behind them, the Rolling Stones. Again, shock, right? I've never seen the Rolling Stones, and I wished I had. Now, again, these guys performed well long enough for me to see them. I just, number one, couldn't afford it. Those tickets were ridiculous, and when I go to a show, I want to be down low, front and center as much as possible. I don't want to pay, $200 for nosebleed seats and seeing the people that look like that big. Not fun at all for me, but that's my number 9. Number 8, King Diamond / Merciful Fate. I've never seen King Diamond solo act or Merciful Fate live, and he just came recently to the Baltimore area, and I just couldn't get around to it. It was a work night, which is pretty tough for me to do. I'd have to take off the next day because I get up super early and going to bed at midnight, plus getting up at 2:30 in the morning. Just doesn't work out so well. So missed out on King Diamond and Merciful Fate. So one day, hopefully, possibly, they're still touring. King Diamond just put out a new song, actually, which I haven't heard it yet, but I heard they're working on some new material. So, number 7. I discovered this band probably, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years ago. Might be a little bit longer, maybe closer to 10. Through the internet. I'd never heard of them before, just searching through YouTube, and I was watching some, Rancid videos and stuff like that, and I came across a band that I love now that just went back on tour, just got kind of back together 2 years ago, and that's the Distillers with Brody and company, and that band just, for whatever reason, just stuck to me. Never got to see them live, but again, it's been a short stint really for that band for me, but I would love to see the Distillers live, and they put on one heck of a show. So that's my number 7. Number 6, the almighty Death. Yeah, Death. Never seen them live. Will never have an opportunity since Chuck passed away. And you guys have, if you watched any of my videos, you know how crazy I am about Death and Chuck, and I thought they were awesome as pioneers for death metal bands. So Chuck, rest in peace. You were the greatest, man. Number 5, another one I can see, and I probably will once they go on tour for this next go around, and that's Metal Church. Never seen Metal Church live. Mike Howe passed away recently, and they have a new singer, have a new record out, and it's a pretty good record. I wouldn't call it album of the year. All right, coming in at number 4, this is when it starts getting pretty shocking, considering the bands that are on this list. I had opportunities to, just again, finances, time, raising a family, all that good stuff was very tough for me. So I never seen Pantera. Yep, I'm not going to say that Pantera's this. Never seen Pantera with the Abbott brothers, and to me that's a super letdown. Again, stuff happens, right? Number 3, the almighty Van Halen. Never seen Van Halen live in concert. That's one that I really, really wish I would have back in when Eddie was alive, and be able to see him play the way he plays live in person and feel that would have been incredible. Just never got around to doing it, and again, unfortunately, not going to be able to. Number 2. Now this one's probably going to throw you for a loop. It's far from being metal, But I'm a music lover, and I definitely love this band. I still do. And I was devastated, literally devastated, when I found out the news that Dolores had passed. And that's the Cranberries. The Cranberries. Yes, I know. We went from death to the Cranberries. I'm a music lover, and the Cranberries are solid musicians, solid songwriters, solid performers, and they've had some great songs and great albums. Wake Up and Smell the Coffee is one of my favorite top played albums of all time, and I just, and No Need to Argue as well. I love their whole setup. Their later stuff started to fade off, and I think that's kind of when Dolores kind of went on her solo career. They did make a quick comeback, and unfortunately Dolores had passed away, drowned in her bathtub. It's been a few years now, but again, number 2, the Cranberries. Number 1, here's the real shocker here, the biggest shocker yet. If you're still watching and you didn't tune out because I said the Cranberries, I'm no poser. I don't pretend to be just a super strung out metalhead, old 50 plus guy that listens to just one genre of music. I'm a music lover. Yes, metal and hardcore, rock and roll, all of that stuff is great, but I'm diverse as it comes when it comes to music, to a degree. Maybe not as much as some people, but number 1, back to the topic here, the almighty Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. Never seen him live, never been to an Ozfest. Yeah, so when Ozzy's getting up there in age and has stopped touring, so I may never ever get a chance to see Ozzy and Black Sabbath live ever again. And trust me, if you get the opportunities to go to any of these type of shows of bands that you love, artists that you love, and you have some money, go. Take the time off of work, take the time off of school, and go check out, because you never know if you'll ever get that opportunity again. And it happens all of the time. As I said here, 13, a lot of these bands I'll never be able to see, or a lot of these artists I'll never be able to see, because we're not here forever. Metal is, their legacy is, their music will live, but when you can go out and see them live, it's a total different experience. So I hope you guys like this video. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave those comments. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.